Ever dragged the frame in Framer and wondered why does it move differently every time? Or maybe your layout looks perfect on desktop but totally breaks on mobile. That's all because of one thing: positions. So in this video, I will explain how positions in Framer actually works and how mastering them makes your layout behave exactly the way you want. So without making any much delay, let's get into the video. Now let's see about the positions in Framer. We have 4 types of positions. Those are fixed, relative, absolute, and sticky. In order to see those positions, you need to go to the layers and you need to select any of the elements. So from selecting these, you can go to the position, and here in the tag you can find the 4 types of positions. Those are absolute, relative, fixed, and sticky. So the particular element's position can be found from here. If I select this one, you can find the position of this particular layer in the position. Okay. So first we are going to see about the absolute position. So in order to understand it clearly, I am going to create a new page. Let me change the color. So here I am in the new page. Let me create a frame. Okay, so this will be a frame and its position is in absolute. Okay, if this type is in relative or any other position, if you want, you can just click on it and you can change it to absolute so that it will change into the absolute positioning. Okay, right. So what's the use of this absolute position? You can able to place anywhere you want. Okay, this is the use case of the absolute positioning. So wherever you want, you can place it here. Right. And one more thing you need to consider is that particular absolute position will be depend on its parent. Okay. So let's consider this one to be a frame 1. So this frame 1 parent is desktop. So this particular frame 1 absolute position will be dependent on its parent. So in order to understand clearly, let me again create a frame which is inside the frame 1 and let me name it as frame 2. So now this frame 2 will be dependent on its parent. So which is the parent here? The frame 1 is the parent. So the frame 2 will be dependent on its parent, so that you get some idea about the absolute position. Now let me go to the position. Here you can find a bunch of values. Here you need to understand what is the use case of these values. Okay, let me zoom. Here you can find a value of 60 and 60. So in the left you can see it as 60, at the top you can see it as 60. So consider it as a padding. Okay, here you have a 60 pixels of the gap. The same follows for the top, and coming to the right you have around 256 pixels values of the right, and the same for the bottom. Okay, now I am increasing it and let me go to the frame 2. Here you can see the value has been changed. It's only the thing is it's just like a padding value. So the gap in the left, right, top and bottom. Okay, then here you can see there is some of the lines. It is called a pinning of the position. Okay, so for example, let me place it somewhere here. I just want to retain the spacing in the left and the top. So if you want to retain the spacing at the left and the top or any other thing, if you want to retain that particular spacing, you can use the pinning. It's somewhat like a locking that position. So if I click on it, you can see the simulation here. So the particular value will not change. Let me do it for the frame 1 also. Here I have pinned in the left and the top. Let me preview this. If I change the breakpoint, this particular value will not change. Okay, and let me take out this one, that is for the left side, and let me preview this. That particular space will not retain, only the top value will be retained. Okay, and if I pin it in the both side, let me preview this, that particular values will retain here and top. All the values will retain. And if I make it somewhat like this, even the bottom value will not change. And if I take the bottom and left value, let's check. this only these two values will retain. So this is the use case of the pinning. Just think it as like a locking that particular position in the absolute. Okay. Now we are going to see about the relative position. Here we need to understand the relative. So coming to the CSS, we have seen about the static. So instead of that, here we will be using the relative position. Coming to the relative position, you can move this particular frame freely. It's like this particular object is sticking inside the box. Okay. But coming to the absolute, you can able to move it freely. But coming to the relative, it will be sticking in the particular position. But only by changing the layout properties, we can able to move its position. We can't move the position freely as like the absolute. We have to use some of the particular properties in order to move the object, and it will be very effective in order to maintain the responsiveness in all of the screen sizes. So for the better understandability, let me go to the new page, and here I have selected with the frame 1. Now I wish to, instead of making to move it freely, I just want to fix it in the canvas. So I wish to change the position. So I am going to the type, and here I can't find the relative option. It's in the locked. We need to unlock this position. So for that, we need to make this particular frame to be in stack. Okay. So in order to make it as a stack, we need to go to its parent, which is the parent here, the desktop. If you see this particular square boxes, you can label it as frame. It's not as a stack. So we need to make it as a stack. So only if the frame is in stack, we can able to unlock the layout properties and also the relative position. So in order to make this as a stack, let me go to the layout. If I click on the plus icon, it will automatically change it to the type as tab. So if the stack is enabled, it has changed it to like a rows. Now let me go to the frame, and here let me go to the position. That's automatically changes to relative position. Only if we change it to absolute, it will change the position. But if we have make it as a stack, then it will change it to relative position. Okay. So if you want to make the particular frame to be in stack, for that you need to go to its parents and make it as a stack. And also you can able to find whether it is a stack or not by just viewing this square boxes. Okay. So that we have make it as a stack. So the position, the relative have been changed. So coming to this, we can able to move this particular thing freely. So if we have changed the particular frame to relative, we can't able to move it freely. Only we have to use these properties in order to change the position. If we want to make the frame at the top, bottom or center, left and right, everything had been handled by these properties. Okay. So that we have seen about the absolute and relative position. Now we are going to see about the fixed position. So for the fixed position, I have taken this website as an example. Okay, if I move the screen, you can see this particular nav bar is sticking at the top of the screen. It's not changing. The position is not changing up, right? So if you wish the particular elements to be in the fixed position, so the position will not change. Again, you can able to see here this particular element, it's also not changing its position. If you want any of the particular element that should not change its position, you can use the fixed position just like this. Okay, so in order to do that, let me select the element which I want. Okay, let me go to the layers. So I have selected this particular element, and I am going to the type, and here you can find the fixed position, so that you have to select this particular position. And then you can able to see the pinning position as you have seen in the absolute. Okay, so that if we have given the particular spacing at the top and with the pinning, then this particular value, this is the 10 pixel, will not change. Okay, let me preview this. I am just scrolling up. This particular element is not changing its position. So if we want any of the elements to be in a fix, you can use this type of position. And only the use case you have to keep in the mind is only the first child can unlock this fixed position. So here is the desktop is the parent, okay, and which is the first child. That means these two are the first child. Okay, so for this first child, you can able to unlock this fixed position. But if you go to its grandchild, this is the grandchild, right? And I'm going to the time. Here you can't select this fixed position. So this is the use case you need to keep it in mind. Only the first child can able to unlock this fixed position. Now the fourth position is sticky position. Okay, so for that, let me show you the example. Here I have taken this website as an example. Here I am just scrolling the website. Now this particular first frame is sticking on the screen, and the second one comes, again it sticks on the screen, the third one comes, sticks on the screen, fourth one, and fourth one just moved up. The sticky have been vanished. So if you want the particular element to stick to the screen only for the certain section, you can use a sticky position. But coming to the fixed position, that particular element will be fixed to the entire website. Okay, just like this, it will always fix in that particular position. But the sticky is not that case. That sticky position will be applied only for the particular section. So if this particular section ends, it will be gone. So this is the sticky position. So let me go here, and here I have given up with the sticky position, and let me show you. Okay, this particular element is in sticky. Okay, so I am just scrolling this. The sticky position retains from to the 50%. If a particular section comes to the 100% of the completion, it ends. Okay, so this particular sticky position will be applicable only for the particular section. If that particular section ends, it will be gone. And the thing you need to keep in mind is, here I wish to give this particular element type to be in sticky. Okay, now but we need to give the overflow value for all of its parents to be in overflow visible or clip. Okay, so here which is the parent to this particular wrap? This one. So I'm going to the overflow. Here I need to either give the visible or clip. Okay, now which is the parent here? This whole wrap. Okay, and again the overflow should be in visible. Let me change the visibility to hidden, and let me scroll. It won't work. Okay, so if you are choosing one of the particular element to be in sticky, then all of its parent should be in a overflow visible. Now which is the parent to it? This wrap is the parent. So again we need to give the overflow to be invisible. If we have changed it to hidden, again it won't work. So all of its parent should be in a overflow visible. So that you have understand the concept of absolute, relative, fixed and sticky. Let me recall this. Coming to the absolute position, you can able to move this particular thing freely within its parent, which is the parent here. This is the parent. So you can able to move it freely. Okay, coming to the relative, it will be stick within the particular position which we are going to set it in the properties. Okay, and if we want to unlock this relative position, you need to make its parent layout to be in stack. In order to make it as a stack, you need to go to the layout and just click on the plus icon. And the next thing is fixed. If you want the particular element to be fixed for the entire website, you need to make that position to be in fixed position so that it will be fixed for the entire website. And the next thing is sticky. If you want any of the particular element to be stick in the particular section, then you need to use the sticky position. So if that particular section ends, the sticky position will be gone. So for example, it will stick to the screen. If the particular section ends, it will be gone. So I hope you have understand the concept behind the positioning. You have learned some of the knowledge about the fixed, relative, absolute and sticky.